Welcome to Oregon Voters Digest, the program that brings forward the social and political issues that are important to people living here in the Pacific Northwest. And now, your host, Bruce Broussard.
Welcome again to this segment of the Oregon Voters Digest. I'm Bruce Broussard, your host. Joining me today is Richard Carpenter. You've seen Richard here before. And this is quite a day today. Well, before I get into that, as you note, I've always worn my cover here, which is my Marine Corps cover, denoting the fact that I was in Vietnam during that particular time, and I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran, and so I just want you to know that we're always reaching out to veterans, and anything that I talk about, in most cases right now, many folks are retired. They got problems, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of these people are living here. They're residents, they're taxpayers. I mean, they're all over the board. So the bottom line is that anything I might do, and that's why I've got this deal, I'm always trying to get veterans to go out and get their benefits and make sure that their loved ones and their spouses and whatever are aware of the fact that those benefits are there. And the organization that I have, which is No Veteran Left Behind, the whole idea is to make sure that the services that are available at the VA, they are aware of them, and those are some of the things that I'm doing here on Oregon Voters Digest. So it's not just about just political things or this, that, and the other, but they're all human beings and they're still residents. So consequently, anything that I do, they are part and parcel of, and they all have and a good example of that is that, and that's what we're going to be discussing today, is that here in the Portland metropolitan area, or Portland, USA.
That's right.
Because we had a big protest here in the Portland metropolitan area this yesterday, which was a Saturday, and it was advertised nationwide.
That's right.
Worldwide. For that
Plenty to talk about in regard to that.
Worldwide, they announced this thing, and I spent as much time as I could over the media. In fact, I was going to go on and they share a few clips, but unfortunately, they're in business. I called them up, but they're not into, quote, sharing it with our community television piece, so people can get another feel of what's going on. See, and we're not in the commercial business. We're not selling anything, but that thing is in. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go to management, to each of them, and suggest that, hey, look, this is community television, and we want to have access. Because sometimes, too often, folks don't have those kind of opportunities. We got to really get the word out. People are afraid to look at TV in many ways. People are afraid to read newspapers. It's just a crazy thing right now, and we've got to be able to communicate and inform the public at large.
That's right.
So, saying that, what Richard and I are going to do today, he's also checked it out yesterday, looked at some of this stuff in newspapers.
Day after the big protest.
Yep. So it's day after protest, and we want to talk about it right now. And the bottom line is that I think it's going to probably be about a week or so in the future that there'll be more facts coming out.
Okay.
Because, for instance, one of the main causes is that the public is going to know, the people who paid for this stuff, who paid for it, want to know how much did it cost.
Whatever you saw,
how much
you're going to have to pay for that.
You have to pay for everything that you saw there. And trust me, this goes wide way. When you start thinking about, I've seen some of the interviews with the mayor, and he had several of them. In fact, he had one downtown, and he had some leaders, a few folks, if you will. But that was just one piece. He did that piece. And so you ask yourself the question, well, one, who are these people? The first thing that I saw when I saw the downtown, it was in Pioneer Square. It's kind of like a little area there that people tend to frequent and sit down and hold press conferences and all kinds of things that they're happening there. The city pretty well monitors that piece. And I guess the thing that gets me is that they were talking about, at that particular piece, the folks that were there were supposedly folks from Portland, and they were basically all there supporting the fact and trying to share with the public at large and local that, in fact, we do not want, and that's the way they were basically putting it, we do not want anyone to come in and tear up our city and cause all of these problems, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
That's right.
And that's a fact, right? But at the same time, this is going nationwide and this, that, and the other. And the mayor was there making the point about the fact that it's free speech, the First Amendment, right? Freedom of speech aspect of it. But then I guess the thing that got me about that particular piece that he did was that when he said this is free speech, we honor this and we give everybody, and we want to make sure that they're safe and whatever. But the thing about it is, what about the public? What about our safety aspect of it?
Okay.
He was inviting all these folks, if you will, and then naturally the experience that we've had in the past was that these folks would get together and they'd have weapons, they'd have all kinds of weapons, if you will, and then basically breaking up the windows and disturbing everything for that matter. But me, I don't relate that to the free speech piece. It's one thing to speak from a podium. It's one thing to articulate. It's one thing to have a sign and you walk down there with a permit. With a permit.
That's right.
With a permit. And he did not bring that point up.
We don't even know if there are any permits issued.
They were not issued. And to me, I thought that was ridiculous. Because, because we do have an open door policy here in Portland. We have a sanctuary city kind of a deal, and so how that relates to people is that, in all due respect, we get homelesses from all over the country. Don't get me wrong. Ordinarily, we have a fencing area from state to state, but there are certain laws and rules that you still have to abide by, like permits.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
whether you can carry concealed weapons or not. You know what I mean? That type of thing, and those kinds of things should be part and parcel of the permit process, to let the people know that, in fact, these are the things, if you want to come here and demonstrate and be a part of a march or something like that, these are the things that we expect of you. You got me? Signed on the dotted line by a responsible person who's going to be chairing and responding to that deal. The liability. Who's going to pick up the liability? And letting those folks know that if, in fact, if anything, you got to have insurance. You got to have insurance. So if anything, if there's any kind of whatever, and they're part of your march routine, you're responsible for that. I'm just throwing that out on the table aspect of it.
Okay.
So this way, that it is a march, and you specifically identify why you're marching, and how is it going to benefit the citizens of this city.
That's right.
The benefits, you got me, and so I'm just saying that's not what I heard from the mayor. I didn't hear that from the mayor. And then from a historical standpoint, the other thing I didn't hear was that I didn't hear, and he's very familiar with both factions. You got the Antifa, and then you got the Patriot Group, and these are just some things that comes up right off the bat. And you got Joey Gibson, and Joey Gibson, he's one with the Patriot piece aspect of it. But there were some other folks that were there too. But the bottom line is that a lot of people don't know who these folks are.
Not until now.
You know what I'm saying? But now, in all due respect, as I've looked at it, and this, that, and the other, and we have a presidential race, and it's definitely out there, worldwide, right? You got me?
That's right, including the president.
That's right. That's the presidential race, and they spent quite a bit of time making sure that it's a brand now. It's a brand. So I think one of the things that he could have done, and could have related, because he had past history in terms of how these various groups were coming in and whatever. But this was national implication. In all due respect, the brand is, we had an election, you had the Republican on one side, and you had the Democrat on the other side.
Oh, okay.
That's really what the deal was. You see what I'm saying? The people over here on the Patriot and we're going to make America great, whatever, they had their hats on and this, that, and the other. They were supporters of Trump.
Okay.
They were here. That's basically what they were rallying. Every state in the union, that's what they were doing.
Okay.
And on this side, Antifa group was supporting the Democrats. They were doing the Democrats. So what I saw was in that diocese, sitting in that group, if you will, I would have liked to have seen the chairman of the Democratic Party make a statement and the chairman of the Republican Party make a statement, making sure that they tell the folks who are coming down representing Republicans or representing Democrats that we will not condone any of this or any of this, and they become part of that permit.
That's right.
They become part of that permit and pick up that responsibility. See, so, I mean, I'm just throwing that out just as a suggestion because it wasn't just set up right. You know, the way this thing was set up is that then there were things, and I'm just throwing things out as we're talking about this piece aspect of it. But for about a week or two, you know, he was also making the point, press conferences again, where he was saying, okay, fine, I'm contacting the FBI, I'm contacting the federal marshals,
Okay.
I'm contacting the governor for the National Guard troops. I mean, that's what was coming down, and people were getting scared. What is going on here?
That's right.
What is going on? What am I going to do? And then businesses really wasn't aware of what's going on. Some business got it because some of them looked at the news,
Okay.
but a lot of business didn't, and they did it at the last minute. A good one when you think about Saturday, that's a very productive day for business, but also for the citizens. We like to get out on weekends. You got me?
That's right.
And Saturday market was something. In fact, I was at U.S. Bank when they put that piece together years back when I worked for them. But the bottom line is that it was again to reach out to the people. You got me? Here in the city area, and we have Saturday market every, during the summer.
You really couldn't go over town.
That's right. And they had to almost close down. People didn't attend. And you hear comments on radio and this, that, well, I'm not going down there. I'm scared. I may go down there first thing in the morning, and about 2 or 3 o'clock, I'm gone. I'm out of there. And I definitely don't go down there at night. You hear people making all those kinds of statements.
Okay.
So that should have been addressed. That should have been addressed. And so you say to yourself, that's why I started off talking about this whole issue of permit and some of the things that we need to know. You got me? For the public's benefit. You got me?
Okay.
We need to know ahead of time, whether it be a month in advance or 2 months. And they put things out and say, okay, fine, we're going to have this march this Saturday, we're going to have this march this Saturday, and this is exactly what the march is about and how it's going to benefit Portland.
Okay.
Otherwise, they don't get a permit.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? How does it benefit the voting public? Because guess what? We have to pay for it. The public has to pay for that.
That's right.
So on that note, I'll leave that piece. That was one press conference. And then I was thinking about the notables that were there. They had to have a black face there.
Oh, okay.
They had Avell Gordley there. She was a former senator. The poor lady looked like she was really hurting. She was on a crutch or whatever, and then she looked like she was struggling just to be there.
Oh.
And then I did see 2 other commissioners. I saw I saw Joanne Hardesty,
Yeah.
Commissioner Hardesty, and I saw who was the other? Who I'm thinking about? The one who's getting ready to retire. She's not retired. Yeah, she's not going to run next time around. Well,
You're not talking about
not you, Daly.
the one from.
Not Fish. It's the other one.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, she was there. I saw them sitting together. But again, I didn't see them coming up to the podium to say something.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And the point I'm making is that this is not just about the mayor out there doing his press conference. I know he wants to run for office again. This is not a voting piece. Don't use it that way. Everybody should have been there. The city council also is inclusive of this problem. It's not just the mayor's problem. It's the city council people problem too. Because they have to vote on the idea of making it policy that they have to have a permit or this, that, and the other. They got to be part and parcel of that. So when something like this happens, everybody should stand up. That press conference should have been held at City Hall, if that's the case.
Okay.
And then everyone should have expressed themselves in terms of their feelings and why why should they have the march or they shouldn't have the march. But they weren't in the discussion. It was just and I'm jumping a bit because when he did the police thing, I saw that interview. I think it was on Channel 2. Yeah, Channel 12. And he made a statement at the end of the statement. He said he was going back and forth. They had the police public relations person that was basically introducing the people to come to the podium.
Okay.
And the chief was there, and he was there.
Chief.
Yeah, and so but in his comments, and I'll talk a little bit about that too. But when he came up there, he was kind of like, oh gee, he was macho. He was really, he's hard nosed, and he said, you will not come in my city. It's no my city. It's our city. He works for us.
Right.
I mean, people tend to forget that, and I don't really. I'm letting them know today that it's not just your city, it's our city. In fact, that's why I went down to City Council a couple of weeks ago to sit down and chat with him and share with him my concerns.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I went down there to talk with him, and I was not received well whatsoever.
Oh,
I was not received well. I went to the front desk like I normally would do, and like you would normally do. I'd like to see the mayor, and say, well, what for?
yeah.
Well, first off,
It's not being received well.
no, you don't. So then they finally pulled out a piece of paper for me to put something down, and I signed my name to it, and I said, well, in general, for general whatever. And I figured, so I could sit down, and someone would say, okay, fine, just have a seat for a moment. Maybe get the chief of staff to come in and maybe ask me, well, Mr. Broussard, well, what kind of questions do you think? What are some of your concerns? Are they serious concerns or whatever? What do you want to talk about? And I'll consider it if a chief of staff was there and say, well, this is my concerns. And I would have been basically saying some of the same things that I'm doing here now. But I got none of that. I didn't even get a call.
Oh,
I didn't even get a call.
okay.
We need to understand, and Richard, we're both in the same boat. We have talk shows. We don't say no. This is not a partisan situation when we do our shows. We invite everybody. That's the whole idea, to educate and inform the public. That's what we do.
Okay.
That's what this show does. You got my point?
Right.
So for him to take the i.e. personal feelings about, no, there's nothing personal about this. I want him to answer this question, but I was there as a citizen. Taxpayer, just a regular residential person, and I think I had that right. He's the employee. I'm the employer. If you want to put that I part in
That's
there.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So anyway, but getting into that diocese, I saw that piece, and then after you see everything else, and then we saw the police piece involvement aspect of it. Sure. And by the way, at that deal on that was about a week ago, I guess, at the Pioneer Square. I saw the chief of police, but I didn't see the president of the union, Daryl Turner.
Oh, okay.
And in all due respect, Daryl has a direct relationship with the troops on the ground.
Okay.
I mean, we've learned that in the military.
Right.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? He was responsible for the troops. He knows the troops.
Okay.
Now the chief actually works directly for the mayor. He appointed her. It wasn't a situation where the union picks up the chief. They got a process where the mayor picks up the chief. Got me?
Okay.
But the bottom line, the person who had more experience than the chief, who's an out of town, and I had no problem with Chief Outlaw, she's a woman or whatever,
Right.
fine. But the people who are going to be handling actually physically touching this whole issue with this deal has to be someone that's familiar with the terrain. Because you can't really tell troops to go and plan something if you don't have any background. You see, I mean, she had a statement, but bottom line is that's not from my experience, because I'm out here every day. I didn't get that same deal, so he wasn't there. I think there are some other folks that should have been there too, like if in fact there was the other person as far as police. I know that the mayor has a gentleman who used to be president of the union. His name is King. Is King, and he works on the mayor's staff right now. But he's got a heck of a lot of experience and exposure to the issues of Portland, because he's been there a long time. He's basically, I think he's retired. He's kind of like a semi-retired kind of a guy. But now that guy's got some background. You got me? He wasn't there. I didn't see his face as a diocese. I didn't see Commissioner Fish face on the diocese. I didn't see him there. You see what I'm
I
saying?
don't think I've seen him forever.
Yeah, I didn't see you daily there, and Commissioner you daily.
Yeah,
I didn't
know
see us
Chief.
sitting in the diet. And this is not an easy job when you take those jobs. That's a tough job.
Yeah.
Being a city council person.
That's right.
Being any kind of a government, if you will, elected
You
representative.
take a lot of heck.
But that comes with the job. If you can't handle it, fine. But some
Right.
ways, I think we ought to look at that. I think we ought to look at the application process when a person wants to run for office. At least make sure that the council is balanced from the standpoint we got some people who have knowledge of this. You know what I mean? By basically filling it out, identifying what the issues are, and then responding to those issues on the when you first initially sign off to run for office, right? You show me that you've got some background, you know what's going on. But if you don't have anything, you OJT, on the job training.
Okay.
And this is not a job you on the job train.
That's right.
You got to have some sense of
Come in with some.
something that says you bring something to the table that talks to the issues.
Right.
You don't necessarily have to know them all, but something that says, oh, okay, we can use this person here, so the people would know, because that would have an impact on my vote. When I saw a name, if I knew that that person didn't have any background whatsoever,
right.
well, first, in all due respect, they should have a committee to make sure that they identify basically who are the top whatever, but take that in consideration. Okay, got me? So that was one of the things when he made that announcement. When he got in the front of the police aspect of it, he sort of like cited, like he was talking about the mayor now, like he was talking with this guy from, whether he's from Florida or something like that, one of the leaders. I think he was the guy with the, he was the Republican. He was the Trump guy. He was basically
That's right.
supporting Trump aspect of it. And the guy was straight. He was just saying, look, I'm just here. I just want to. And they basically say we're campaigning for the president. That's basically what I heard. He was campaigning for the president, and you know, they got the other opposition on this side, and then their thing was that we're not here to cause any problems.
Okay.
But then there's name calling stuff. That's why I'm saying, rather than going through all these different names about white supremacists, the Gestapo, and all that kind of stuff, I don't want to hear that. You know, it was clearly they represented Trump. These folks represented Democrats. They were in opposition to that. You always saw that in these so-called gatherings. You got me? And so I thought that was a very interesting. My point is that the mayor talked as if he knew this guy, like he already talked with him.
Okay.
Well, if he talked with him, say, hey, by the way, you got to get a permit here. I got to be able to tell the people exactly what you're going to be coming down here for,
Okay.
because we've announced this thing all over the world. And in all due respect, we're going to, you know, and if they're on your side of the deal, you're responsible.
Okay.
Is that fair? I think that's fair.
All right.
That's just common sense. If you're going to come in your city, but in my city,
That's right.
in our city it's a whole different ballgame. In our city, we're talking about our safety and all that other good stuff, and who's going to pay for it?
Okay.
He's not paying for it. He's getting paid to resolve our problems.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's a very important piece. I mean, you get a little irritated about this piece, but should be. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people, you know, about possibly even coming on. We're the only one that's got enough guts to come and talk about this stuff. People are scared. I mean, when people just tell you face to face, point blank, I am not going to go downtown Portland, but you're paying for it. I'm not going to go down there and have a cup of coffee.
That's right.
I'm not going to take my wife to dinner. And if you're a senior citizen, you can forget about it.
Oh yeah. Right.
That's insulting. See? And so you know, that's a major issue. But anyway, with the police thing, he and the chief were there, and they were making comments
Yes.
about the police and this, that, and that. But again, where was Daryl Turner, the president of the union? Okay?
All right.
Because, and the reason being is that Daryl listened to this stuff, and then the press will go to Daryl and say, what do you think about it? And he goes 180 degrees out of what they say, or maybe object to some of the things that were being said. Whereas on the other hand, look, you guys solved that piece, but bring him at the diocese to get the sign off.
Okay.
My point is that you represent the people, the masses. You're the mayor of the city, and the other city council people should have been at that press conference.
That I
Every
was
one of
wondering
them
about
should have been
that.
there at that press conference. And in all due respect, not at the police department, at City Hall. So the people could see it. Then let the press come up there.
That's right.
Because the press was sitting there in that little room aspect of it. Well, you know, okay, got me? So you know, when you're making a statement like that, talk to the people. Not just on TV, because people don't watch the news.
Okay.
A lot of people don't watch the news. Yes,
No, that's right.
Seniors do, because in all due respect, it's kind of like an extra person when you got it in your home. See,
right.
you got me.
More
So we
time.
do, and so we're scared, and we're doing things like buying guns and things of that nature. Some of us don't need a gun, but the fact of the matter is, just like we're talking about this march thing routine, people are scared. That's why people basically will go and buy a gun, buy 2 or 3 of them, 4 of them. You know, next thing you know, what happens? Then you got suicide. I don't want to get into that. That's another.
Yeah,
That's
right.
another. That's another major issue.
It really is.
That's
Yeah.
another major issue aspect of which we will address at some point in time in this race aspect.
We're on the First Amendment.
Yeah, that's right. We're in First Amendment. But the bottom line, the freedom of speech does not say he was using that as a justification, saying, okay, we need to have this march. They should have the freedom to say what they want to say. We're going to protect them, and we're not going to have these problems. But then at the same time, I'm saying, okay, fine. They got weapons. They got this. They got that. And then you may find 2 or 3. You didn't find that many on the group. Everybody didn't have anything. But the bottom line, but my point is that until somebody shoots someone, they don't enact nothing. Until someone actually hits somebody upside the head with a bat, or grab a garbage can or whatever, throw somebody on a brick wall or something, that's when they act. Well, to me, no. You need to. You can solve 50% of those problems beforehand.
Yeah, that's right.
When you make a demand that you go, okay, look here, you can't carry a weapon. If you're found to be carrying, whether it be a knife or a bat, a stick, anything of that nature, and you join this march, and you're caught with that, guess what?
That's right. They did catch some
You
of
see what I'm
that.
saying? You're going to jail. You are going to jail. And you're going to face the rules and the reg based on this, that, and the other. It's called deterrence.
They started taking weapons very early on.
Exactly. And see, but right now, guys say, "What? So what? So what if I go down there and, and spend a day and a night in jail? No problem." So there's no deterrent. I mean, what's the motivation? In fact, you saw that one tape with this one guy. Boy, he was. Man, if I was the Marine Corps, I would have enlisted him overnight. he was that stocky built. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So he was deterrent. I mean, this guy was huge. He was I'm here to fight. I don't want to talk. Already make the statement. So what do you do with a person like that? You put them aside.
Right.
No, you got to sit on the side over here. You can't go in this piece because we don't want we don't want you stirring nothing. Stirring the deal. That you ready to fight routine, and no one touches him until he starts the fight. Well, see, I don't like the idea of starting the fight because
Right.
the guy on the other end might be a little guy, like that Asian guy all of a sudden
never
they were
know.
kicking him. You never know what's going to happen after the fact. Well, after the fact doesn't mean anything with the guy who's getting stomped on and this, that, and the other. You got me? And then if he gets stomped on, then they come back and sue the city.
That's right. They do it every time.
They do sue the city, and guess who pays for it?
Us again.
There we go. So that was another major issue. I just didn't know, due respect, I didn't like the mayor in terms of how he was trying to justify why he was having this particular event and all the people in it. Another area is where are you going to house those people? If all of a sudden we had a big riot, that could have happened. It could have happened. But if they had a riot, all of a sudden those
Well,
people
that's-
started.
yeah,
Then
yeah.
where are you going to house them? We can't. Normally, what happens is that when the police picks them up, they take them to the county because the sheriff was involved in this piece too, because he's an elected official now, Multnomah County Sheriff. But he's the guy that houses them. When you get him in the wagon or whatever, he takes them over there, and then they process them. Right? You got me? That's
Okay.
what they do. So, but the bottom line is that how many beds do you have? So what you do with that?
In
so
the
that
jail,
Means,
okay.
that means you got to go out around the city or in other counties and see if you can lease some beds with the anticipation of putting what? They said 1,200 people or so was out there. So if you got half of them or so, that's 600 people, right?
Right.
600 people. So you need 600 beds.
Well,
And you only have the capacity for what? Maybe 100? So where do you go with the rest of them?
that's right.
Now we did have another jail. It was called Wapato.
Oh, yeah.
You
Right.
see? And so if it was me, if I was there, and I was just coming on because the guy picked it up for $5 million. The public lost
Right.
$95 million. We lost $95 million.
what-
We gave and snitched.
Taxpayers' law.
That's right, and snitches got there. They're they're people of the arts and things of that nature. You know what I mean? Like anything else, people can flip property. I mean, it's a free world. You know what I mean? You can do what you want to do. However, I mean, because they didn't basically sign the check. They didn't just give you. I mean, they accepted the money, and they got the building. But I would have gone to Snitzer and say, hey, you're a businessman, you're from Portland, we're gonna have a problem.
Right.
And look here, I mean, you're not doing anything with the building right now. Can we have those 400 beds?
Oh, okay.
Just set them aside, because we're going to need a jail.
Right. Okay.
And so consequently, when we run out of there, we're going to bring them over here, and we want you to write that off. Because you got a good deal.
Okay.
You got a $100 million piece of property for 5.
All right.
That's a pretty good deal. You know, if I came up to you and basically shared that deal, I'd say you're a member, you're just like us, you're a resident of Portland and whatever, and you got a little bit more money than I have, but the bottom line, you got that building just sitting there, you know what I mean? And what we're going to do, we're just going to just clean it up. We're not going to do anything other than use it for a jail.
Right.
A lot of people are talking about the jail thing where, you know, and we got to accommodate, they're too far for the city and the busing. Well, no, we want a jail because they got to have somewhere to lock these. Where are you going to put it in the Coliseum? Where are you going to put this overflow? See?
Okay.
So, and if you go to any other county or city, they're going to charge you.
That's right. That's right.
When you go to U-Haul to borrow a piece of transportation to go from point A to point B, they don't say, well, okay, fine. No. This is what it's going to cost you up front, right?
Right.
So that, you know, that's an issue. And then the other thing is that did he communicate? I'm talking about the mayor now. Okay, I'm saying, did he communicate with the other mayors around the city of Portland? Because we got Gresham on one end, we got Oregon City, we got West Lynn. I mean, folks are coming in from all over, right? Coming in the city of Portland.
And they're not bringing any houses or anything.
You understand what I'm saying? So the name of the game is that you need. Did he inform those folks, and did they make the announcement at their front door? It says, "Hey, look here, I want you to be aware. We don't want you stopping here."
Okay.
But at the same time, you shouldn't be going down to Portland with any kind of problems. So be aware of those folks. Now, if I had my way, I'd put the alert on. I want profiling.
Okay.
If a person looks like someone they're going to be doing something like that, I want you to stop that person. I mean, I'm getting down into the meat of the matter, trying to divert something like that. That's a very important piece aspect of it.
Right.
So I'm just throwing some little things in there on the table that's my opinion.
Okay.
And my concern. Those are my opinion, and I have a right to give an opinion. Every citizen in here, in the city of Portland, has a right. You know what I'm saying? To basically respond to that peace aspect of it. Any thoughts?
We haven't talked too much about the protest yesterday itself. Just, you know, you had Joey Gibson here.
Yeah, Joey. Yep.
You had Walsh.
Yep.
Yeah. And so you had quite a bit of interviews.
Yeah. Well,
from these people.
You made a good point about Joey. Well, naturally, we interviewed him here, and I did. And so, because I interviewed him before, I picked up the phone and called him. I called him last week. I said, Joey, and we made the point. We made the point on your show. When you did your show, I said, hey, look, he's not going to be there. So he's not going to be at the march. And I wanted to get that word out because people would know, oh, okay, fine. So a lot of these folks who might have just wanted to go down there and just do a fight for all routine, say, well, ain't no sense in me going down there because I wanted to see Joy. We have a good time. He didn't. So the bottom line, he told me he wasn't. So I announced it. And I'm saying that should have been one of the first things that the mayor did. Nothing wrong with contacting the lead people of these different groups.
Okay.
And either sit down with them or have them come in City Hall and address the mic and the rest of the city council and say, hey, look here. Hey, freedom of speech, right? Here we go. Why don't you share with us what do you want to talk about? Share it with everybody. Share it with the world because you got TV cameras there. You got the media there. So my point, those other entities would also share, if you will, all the facilities to get it out to the public.
You know, Gibson, you know, he's supporting Trump and all.
Yeah,
you know.
yes, that's what he does.
Who are the other people after? Who are they? What is their point?
Well,
do we know?
Well, they're in a kind of a conservative action too. I mean, again, freedom of speech. You know, we got folks across the matter. I mean, we got all kinds of folks. Look at the various parties we have. We got the Independent Party. We got Libertarian Party. We got
Green.
We got Green Party. We got on and on and on. See, but we still have the two major parties aspect of it. So some of those folks are in each one of those groups. It depends.
Okay.
And then you just got wannabes. We got a state. We got a college right here in this city. It's called Portland State.
Yeah.
What do you think those kids do on weekends with nothing to do? Come down and get in the march.
Oh,
Party.
okay.
They come and party on the weekends. What do they party on the weekend?
That's why it was Saturday.
It's said, hey, look, I'm going down here and get in the march. See what's going on. And you saw some of the media was interviewing some of those young people. They had nothing to say.
lot
Oh,
of them.
well, then some of them were just kind of, well, I don't know why I'm here, but someone said that they were getting ready to demonstrate, and I'm here, and I don't see nothing.
That's right. I don't know why I'm
I
here.
don't know why I'm here. And they were saying that on tube. And the media was carrying it, so to speak. Get me?
Right.
And that should show you. But we got again, like I said, we got a Portland State, large facility, college right here in this city. Right here in the city.
Okay.
Nothing to do.
That's right.
And what did we do when we went to school? Same thing. You go to the city. Or you go where the action is.
Right.
You got me? And so that was a very interesting piece. And then you start looking at the other people that were there. Then I'd be right from it. I looked at the police aspect of it, the way they were. Boy, they were all dressed up. Gee whiz, they said we will not let any. Was making the statement. They wanted to make sure they got enough cops to cover everybody. Mm-hmm. No cops will just go out and just do by themselves. Mm-hmm. I mean, they had 1,000 strong. Suppose 1,000 strong. And if you got 1,200, was it 1,200 or I guess 1,200 people? That's what they estimated the crowd, 1,200. And then I'll take away 200 or 300 of those when someone making an estimate. Because young folks are running all over the place. You count them twice. You don't know. You ask John over in this corner, this guy in this corner, and I don't have my number. Oh yeah, 300. What about 100? You know what I mean? That type of deal. See, I experienced that when I was in Vietnam. Guys come in and after they get through going through the skirmishes and whatever, the body counts. Well, we had our own radio deal, Radio America routine, and I'll be right up front. At some point in time, I would always add another zero. That's how bad it was at a certain time. They didn't want basically to impact the people at home as much. But folks were dying over there in that war.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So I'm saying that in this situation, as far as I was concerned, I was looking at it the same way. But if you got 1,000 cops, one cop can handle at least 2 people, easy. and I'm saying, I saw some of them, many of them, were big enough to deal with that, a deterrent. They had the uniform on, deterrent. At one point in time, they never had all this gear on. It looks scary. It looks dangerous. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I want security, but I'm not. We're not having a war here. It's a whole different ball game.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I'm just being right up front with you. How do you walk up to a guy like that and ask him a question? See? But now, to me, if they're law enforcement officers, that's the difference. And if those guys, men and women, they got women there too, but if they knew the definition of what that permit was all about, what they can do and what they couldn't do, that makes a difference. Because you got people with guns and whatever saying that somebody start reaching for your gun and this, that, and the other, whatever, all of a sudden people get excited, bang. They're reaching for my gun, I'm scared, or whatever. That's a whole different ballgame. That's a difference between back in the days where we just had cops and whatever, but then as a law enforcement, we got a little bit more sophisticated today. But law enforcement means that you know what the rules and the regs and this, that, and the other, and you basically given a criteria sheet, what to expect, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Don't get me wrong, there's some other things involved in that piece, but they get a pretty heavy bad rap. Law enforcement.
Yeah, that's right.
They get very, very, and then
see it on these programs, and
that's right, and it's a scary job. It's a tough job. And when I see some young people who are policemen driving by themselves in a car, trying to go to a crowd, I say, you got to be kidding me.
Oh, that's right.
with a bunch of homeless. And in fact, I've tested that when I ran for the county, and I went out at night and talked to the homeless, and near the waterfront up that area, just sit down there with them and ate me a hot dog and whatever, and then found out that you could buy anything you want down there, and it's dangerous.
They always seem to have plenty of food.
They got the food. They got the food.
Right.
And then they can throw anything they want. But by the way, you notice you didn't see too many homeless folks there. The kids were all of the wannabes were there at the march. And the homeless, that's too fast for me. You notice that?
I just saw something today.
Yeah.
That about these people want to become librarians.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, then you work with the files, and then you talk with people about what's in the books. That's not what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're doing stuff to help the homeless, CPR, drugs, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Totally mental health. That the whole. I mean, if you're homeless, where is a place you can go that's always warm, quiet,
Yeah.
get things to read?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Library's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the librarians get stuck with that.
With a whole bunch of stuff too,
I
right?
just wanted to mention that.
No, I agree with you. In fact,
Saw that.
we can go that way too. In fact, I would even ask the question, where were the homeless? The homeless would say, hey, I'm not going down there.
Right.
I might get caught doing something, see?
Right.
So I'm not going to be down there. I'm going to rest over here in my tent. Nobody's going to be messing with me now. I might be able to sell a few more drugs now because everybody's over here guarding this other deal, and I'm over here doing this stuff.
Yeah.
You
Right.
get my point? So no, I agree with you, but that homeless thing is a very serious piece that we have in the city, and I'm still getting the same lip service, i.e. from the Wheeler and the administration aspect of it. I mean, sometimes if you can interpret it, you can either get a recorder and record the activities on Wednesdays for the city of Portland from 9 to about 10 or something like that, and then they go into other ways, you know what I mean, that's where the city council meet. But but you have to know, you have to have some background to be able to interpret what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's boredom. Other than the people who are talking, people who are coming up there on the citizens who are coming and getting that 3 minutes, which is ridiculous. There's nowhere in the world a non-professional person, just an average person, can go up there if they got something on their mind to be express themselves in an intelligent way in 3 minutes. You can't do it. I mean, I'm sitting on the show. We've been doing this stuff for years, and it still takes time to get your point out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
See what I'm saying?
Okay.
That needs to be looked at. And at the city, that's another thing that doesn't help his situation out at all, because he's making that decision. He runs that shop. He should alternate the so-called chair for talking to the citizens who are coming up before the podium.
Mm-hmm.
You should just alternate. He can still be sitting there. But the county should do the same thing as far as I'm concerned. Give those folks some exposure dealing with those folks. His thing is that, he has the gavel, and the person comes up there like a Joe Walsh or whatever. Joe's is a very intelligent. He's got a lot of background, if you will. But he said, I gotta make my point. No, gavel, it's right. If you don't leave, I'm gonna call up the guards and better. Okay, now he does the old closing. Then what he does, he closes the whole deal out. He closed the whole deal out. He said, turn the camera off, and then I'm at home trying to figure out what's going on. And then the other person gets taken out, then they come back. And then the next Wednesday, Joe comes back. See?
Okay.
That's very annoying. See? So you look at that process, and I used to go before the council years back, but I don't go anymore. I don't go anymore. Why should I waste my time driving in all that traffic downtown? And each one of them always made the statement about, we're going to take it out to the other parts of the city, which they don't do. They stay downtown. And you got to go to the security deal, but parking is difficult to go downtown.
Right.
And then for a 3-minute piece. See, and so that's another issue I think he could improve on. And by the way, folks, I want you to know we're taking quite a bit of time. I'm taking a little bit more time than I normally is, but these are some critical times right now, you know, and we need to talk about some of the things. And I would have shared that with the mayor had he met with me. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? I mean, he likes to go behind doors. I'm not a behind the door kind of a guy.
Okay.
I'm talking to the public.
Okay.
I'm giving
That's right.
opinions and I'm sharing, and I'm motivating them to do the same thing. If you got something on your mind, you're paying for it. That whole group down there, that whole city council are employees of yours.
Right.
You got every right to give them a call. You got every right to go down there and knock on that door. And it's not about favoritism. I don't like Bruce or I don't like Richard, so consequently I don't have to talk to them. It don't fly that way. See,
Yeah.
so it's very important that the people communicate, because going back to the deal again. Some people were tourists coming to our city.
Yeah. That's right.
We lost a lot of business,
That's right.
and a lot of these tourists were walking out and said, "What's going on?" They didn't know nothing about it. Well, didn't you see it on the news? I don't look at the news.
All right. Okay.
I'm not looking at the news because of what all this stuff that I see. I don't look at the news. But I'm all the way up. I done spent my money to come down here. Now my trip's going to be short. They had people like that.
That's right.
A lot of people like that.
We're a destination city sometimes.
Yeah, right. Big time. I mean, tourism is huge for our town aspect of it. You got my point? And that's another issue aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
We lost a lot of business. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of money it took yesterday.
Oh, sure. That's
All
right.
the overtime for those policemen.
That's right.
See, they're probably getting about maybe, I don't know, maybe we figure with all of the perks, maybe $100 an hour. Easy.
And there's still supposed to be this lawsuit to do with
With
Joy
Joy.
Gibson,
Yeah.
where he hasn't done anything.
Right.
I was,
Oh, it's a crazy deal.
it just costs more money for
More money.
no reason.
More money. And that's why I'm saying they need to go at the table and figure out what's it going to take to give people the opportunity, freedom of speech, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
So come up with a concept, something. But make sure that if it's a downtown thing, you got to think like a human being. Now, if you're running around like a millionaire, and I'm not trying to knock him in terms of what his past was. I mean, we all have backgrounds, right? Whatever. But I'm not a millionaire. You a millionaire? Yeah, you a millionaire? No. See, but the bottom line is that he doesn't have to worry about that. Money is not an issue to him.
Okay.
He doesn't have the passion right now. I mean, I was giving him some time for. I can't give him more time because he's been in two different offices. He's been the chair of the county commissioner. He's been the treasurer, right?
Okay.
And then he's come over here, and now he's the mayor. Well, that's a lot of
Oh,
exposure.
yeah. that's
He's
right.
supposed to have known something, but when you don't have that passion, see, and I can pretty well tell you those folks that are sitting, those other commissioners like Joanne Hardesty, she was very much involved with activities. You got my point? She spent a lot of time in that police stuff. In fact, if I had my brothers, I would have appointed her, whether she liked it or not, to the police commissioner. Now you will talk to Darrell Turner. You will talk to Darrell Turner. Darrell Turner will talk to you. And you will talk about those issues that were on your table before you got to be a commissioner. But otherwise, you didn't have access. See, put them where they are. See, I mean, and you daily. I mean, she's in the rent control and this, that, and the other. But housing was key to her, because that's how she got there. People are looking for housing,
Okay.
poor folks, that kind of stuff. But he's the mayor. He picks up his own piece aspect of it. But so you ask yourself, well, anyway, he's going to have to spend a little bit more time, and if he's thinking about running, I think he should possibly really, really look at it and look at the mirror and look at himself and what he's doing, because the man is still a family man. I respect about the family. I didn't like the idea of people demonstrating him in his house and his family. That's his own domain. That's it. That's his home. And those kids. His wife should. I'm sure she probably wasn't there yesterday. Probably had, if not that, they probably had a whole squad of cops there to guard her. You got me? But then, in all due respect, I got to think, what about the neighbor?
Yeah,
What about my house? What about your house? See what I'm saying?
that's right.
See, and so he didn't want to do that. As far as I'm concerned, she's part of that family. You know, and that's our family, our city family. You know what I'm saying? And she's included in there with the kids. But I don't see him with no kids. I don't see him with his wife. You know what I'm saying? So he's not comfortable in that arena. She's not comfortable. I wouldn't have my wife in it, nothing like that with deal. If I run, she'd be part of the deal. She'd be doing something, whether it be, I don't know, some kind of a program for seniors or something that she liked, or something for kids, and you know what I mean. And just that to me, because you got to get the whole package deal when you sign your name down there and run for office.
Right.
Your whole family is part and parcel
That's right.
of the package. You got me? And somebody said, well, gee whiz, well, a good example of that. Just check out what President Trump goes through. His whole family is part of that deal.
It sure is.
And boy, they jump on him like it's going out of style. See, but he's hanging in there. You get my point? So those kinds of jobs today, like mayors and governors and president and congressmen and all that kind of, those are tough jobs. It's not like the old days where you know you were king of the mountain. Not today. Not today. You got a lot of people who are educated and they're wanting, and you know that kind of a deal, and they're living everything. So you got to be part of the deal. You got to be in that kitchen. That kitchen is hot all the time, all the time. Got me? So that's another piece there. So Mr. Mayor, you know, I've shared with you, and hopefully some of your cohorts will share some of the points that I did a lot of the chat, but Richard has a show, and he does his thing too, and he basically pick up some good stuff. You got me?
Okay.
And so, but the bottom line is that you're welcome to come on the show.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's welcome. He can come on your show too if he wants to, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this time, I'm not a what do you call this? Just a clip kind of a guy. When I ask you a question, I want you to give me some meat on it, man.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying with him. See, he doesn't, and that's why I think he does not want to get interviewed anymore. I interviewed him when he ran for county commissioner, no, county chair, and I knew he didn't have any background, but I helped him out a little bit. Meaning that I spent a little bit more time with him in terms of, what about this?
Yeah.
What did you mean about this? How do you plan to do this?
Okay.
See what I'm saying? And I still
That's
have
right.
that. I still have those. You know what I'm saying? But sound bites not going to make it. So I'm in essence, I would have talked with him this way, and I would have talked with him just this way. You know, in his quarters, he could have had a chief of staff, whoever he wants to, as far as I'm concerned. I would be basically talking to him just like we're sharing it here and now. Well, now I've shared it. This piece right here. So what are you going to do? So in essence, hopefully you can look at it. And I'm hoping, but I can't meet with you behind doors anymore. I can't. I tried that. He has to come on the show.
Yeah.
He has to come on the show.
Maybe there'll be someone else out there for commissioner or who else running.
Yeah. Well, it's my understanding there were three individuals that gets a Steve Dunn show, Your Voice, Your Vote. He had them on, and he had them on. He was kind of a nice guy. See, he edits the show. It's not a live show. He interviews them beforehand, then he puts it on. So it's not a live show like we do. You know what I mean? But no, there are three people that he interviewed and said they were going to run. And as you know, I had the young lady from the city auditor's office, and she made it very clear that on the 12th of September is when you are certified.
Oh, yeah.
If you're running for
Got to
office.
be in by then,
You
right?
got to be in by the 12th. That's the date. The 12th is the date for signing officially.
Okay.
Okay, for the May. See, so the bottom line is that they're running, and I understand then it was three guys, I guess it was, and you know, they're a little short on the deal, whatever. I'm still looking for some good solid, you know, and I think Teresa Rayford, and I know Teresa, they didn't interview her at that show, they interviewed her at the second show, so there was some wait time there. So there are four people that he interviewed, and we're going to start interviewing some folks, and I'm going to be looking at it very closely as to whether or not I want to get involved. My whole commitment is one thing. I want the issues on the table. I want the issues on the table. I'm not looking. I've been in this business for a long time, and I understand journalism, and I understand that kind of business. So consequently, they've got everything. You really don't have the opportunity to really articulate your solution to the problem, because in all due respect, in order to be able to ask a question about solution, the person that's asking the question has to have some experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just reading a clip over here and then asking you a question, right?
Yeah.
You
Okay.
got me? Because when it comes out, it's going to come out with you anyway. And it's not necessarily right. And you can't go back to that person and say, hey, this is not what I said. This is not what I meant. And the person said, well, hey, I'm done. We've already given you your deal.
Okay.
And then we're going to endorse whoever based on how many ads I got from that person. I mean, you know, it's a tough deal. So in this particular case, you know, if I did run, I mean, I'd run. My whole purpose is that I want to make sure I've got a little safety for my wife and friends and whatever. You know what I'm saying? I've been here a long time. I paid my dues. I just want what's right. You got me?
Right.
See. So with that, we got about 2 minutes, and you got anything you want to say? When's your next show?
Well, not
September.
yours.
No, yours. September. something.
September.
That's second Wednesday.
Yeah, maybe the 11th.
Okay, that's second
Yeah,
Wednesday.
second Wednesday.
Yeah, second Wednesday.
Your show is, of course.
Mine's on Sundays. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to really get back into the racist aspect of it, and it may be about the
More information
more
about
information about the deal next week. Yeah, because hopefully those numbers will be out there about how much it cost us, and get some critiques from some other folks.
Yeah.
You get me? And maybe get some candidates who might be running at that time and get their feedback. Because anything we can get to the table to avert that whole situation for next year, we don't need that again. And when you look at the price, in terms of the price, what it costs us,
That's right.
you
It's
will
the
not,
price.
we do not want that at all, unless he picks up the tab. Now, he's in a position to maybe pick up that tab. Maybe $3, $4, $5 million. He might be able to afford it.
Probably the money's taken away from parks or somewhere else
Jesus,
to
right?
go to this thing.
Yes, yes,
That much of things that people like,
exactly.
they won't be able to have
Exactly.
because so much money has gone to this. Has to go to this. This is well, not life or death. But
Right,
it's
right.
important.
Right.
Important.
Well, now, folks, we got about a minute here now. And hey, get together with your folks. Get together with your neighbors and talk, just like we've done. You know, I did most of the talking today, but Rich going to do his piece. When he does his piece, he's going to talk about this. But he's here, and he knows what's going on. We talked about this before.
Thank the crew.
Yeah, thanks to crew. We appreciate the crew in there. They did a good job. Jim and Ron, they're awesome. And again, it's not an easy deal. We don't get paid to do this.
That's
We don't
right.
get paid for this, and this is community television.
They are super.
That's right. They are very super people. Okay. Well, thank you very much for being with us. Enjoy the rest of your week. Sorry for the demonstration piece. Call the mayor. Tell him what is on your mind. Be there Wednesday if you want to go. Well, you can't. You got to sign up first. It may take you a month or two to get
You gotta
before the
sign
city
up?
council. For a month or two before you can get before the council.
How much before that?
That's what I'm saying. About a month.
Oh,
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, hey, have a good one.
okay.
See you next week.